We're at the MTA exhibit floor, and that explains the background noise. We're with Gary Johnson of Paul Bunyan Telephone. Paul Bunyan Communications these days, right?
These days, that's
because broadband video is a big part of what you do, and you continue to expand. And I want to talk about that. And first, I want to talk about how you're doing it. You're doing it using a regulation that was written in the 90s, 2 decades ago, but you've used it very successful. OVS, Open Video Systems. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your motivation for doing that, for expanding your video systems?
Sure. Well, we've been so aggressive in trying to get out there and push our video, along with broadband and all our services, out to the unserved and underserved areas, that you're really talking some sparse, rural counties, townships, that type of thing. And as we've discovered, there's a lot of steps involved with expanding a network like ours. And part of that is a regulatory approval to offer video services. And we found that the OVS mechanism federally has really enabled us to work with those rural townships that don't have a franchise with an incumbent cable operator, and really aren't worried about oversight or regulation or franchise fees and all that. They just want your service delivered to their rural members. OVS has really been a platform to do that easy. It's a quick process, a federal filing. If the local township board doesn't have any concern about it, it just happens. So in a couple weeks' time, you have your approval and can move ahead.
One of the unique things about OVS, the whole idea was it was basically creating a pipe that would allow other people to offer their video services on it as well. Tell us about that aspect of it.
Yeah, certainly. That's the open part of this regulation. And so we are required, as part of an OVS filing, OVS regulation, to have a portion of our network available for other providers should there be a request. If you look at the areas that we're serving, though, you're lucky to have one business model that makes sense there. So it's not a tremendous concern of ours that we might have multiple other providers wanting to use our network, but that is a mechanism that is in place. And you don't do it for nothing. I mean, certainly you would then negotiate rates to operate on top of your network. So that's the concept of the open video system that was conceived by the FCC some years ago, right? So. And
one of the things, you're using the OVS system, but fundamentally what you're doing is you're using video, it seems, to drive broadband out there as well, right?
Well, it's a combination. In a lot of areas, I really think it's still still broadband that is the number one thing they're looking for in these unserved areas. But we have found out through surveys and as we've grown that the conversation quickly also encompasses video as well. So in areas where we've tried to offer only broadband, we haven't seen the success where we can offer both services together. So you're right, video is an important piece of the bundle we're offering.
And these days, is most of it fiber to the home?
Yeah, absolutely. All of our new construction and networks is all fiber to the home.
Being from California, we have cities, we have towns sometimes, and we have counties, but we don't have townships. Gary, explain to someone like me, what is a township?
Well, at least in Minnesota, what I'm familiar with, a township is really a level of jurisdiction that's in between a city and a county. It's a subdivision of a county, you might say. And typically they're 6 by 6, 36 square miles. And for us, that doesn't mean it's a suburban area, next to a town. It could very well be a very sparsely populated rural farming area or what have you. So we are, yes, have expanded, and much of it is on a township by township basis. As you have talked about OVS, that's who we're talking to in terms of getting authority. We do work with the township board. It's kind of like a county board, and to let them know what we're doing and to get their approval. Minnesota has some typical regulations that oversee the video aspect of our service delivery, but with OVS we can make it very easy for our township board. If they approve it, it just sails right through. So, but that's a township.
Okay, so really along the way you're dealing with farms and people who are pretty remote who wouldn't necessarily have DSL maybe.
Oh yeah, you can have a township. Doesn't mean you have any people in it. So I mean, it's a challenge. It certainly is. But the township is a nice size area for us to work with the local folks there and try to deliver these services.
Well, Gary, I really appreciate your time and good luck with your new position as a board member here for the MTA.
All right, thanks a lot. Thanks.